ॐ नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Welcome all. In the previous session we saw Maya and illusion, wherein Swamiji explained the concept of Maya. Rather, it is not a concept, but Swamiji defined it as a statement of facts. What we are and what we see around us is Maya. In the fourth chapter of Jnana Yoga, Swamiji's lecture delivered again in London. The title is Maya and the Evolution of the Conception of God. Swamiji takes the discussion further. Swamiji starts briefly mentioning about the Maya and about the Deva, those the bright ones, or the angels as they are known in the Western tradition, and as known in Indian traditions, the Devas. Then he says that humans in the beginning worshipped these divinities, these Devas, and they tried to propitiate by various means like sacrifices, ritual sacrifices and other things, so that the humans can get boons and blessings from these divinities. But the religious scriptures of the world also note that various of these gods of ancients had strange habits. Some of their behavior was not exactly moral or ethical. Sometimes they fought among themselves. So we in the modern times get surprised to see how come ancients worship such jealous gods. But Swamiji says that we should not judge others from our standpoint, from our ideals. Ancient concepts of gods should be judged from their standpoint and not from the modern standpoints. Then he very interestingly mentions that we acknowledge the evolution of the worshipper, that is the human being has evolved since ancient time till modern, but we do not correspondingly acknowledge the evolution of the worshipped, that is the idea of the God, that has also evolved as the human beings have evolved. So that is in accordance with the title of this chapter, the evolution of the conception of God. In primitive human, the ethical sense was not much developed. He or she acted on impulse. With the growth of ethical sense, two forces were felt by human. One propelling outward through senses, and other checking this tendency. So we see that religion, spirituality, or even the ethics and morality begins with do not. Do not indulge into external activities which leads to bondage of body and senses. Do not do unethical things. So it is restricting the outward tendency, that is religion and spirituality. The natural animal behavior is attached to senses and the body, but spirituality begins with the restraining that outgoing tendency. Then as human beings started to grow, a little love, duty and social organization started growing, and correspondingly their gods also displayed limited love, duty, etc. Then some people started believing that they are the descendants of gods, or even from sun or moon. This is in reference to the Indian dynasties Suryavanshi and Chandravanshi, etc. Then Swamiji moves on to higher stages of human development. In time with development of reason in humans, their God increased in ethical significance and power. Instead of little divinities ruling over elements and sometimes behaving sensually and immorally, conception of Supreme God, who is all merciful and all powerful, developed. But with this increase in the powers and the glory of the Supreme Divinity, doubt and difficulty also increased. If God is omnipotent, omniscient, and controller of everything, then why is this evil misery that is seen in the world in the domain of such a God? That doubt also made its root in the human mind. Then Swamiji comes to the main topic of Maya, that if there is all compassionate, all knowing God, then why do we see evil and injustice? That is the theme of Maya, what we are and what we see around us. This dichotomy, this contradiction that he had mentioned in the previous lecture. Then very powerfully Swamiji says, we are walking in the midst of a dream, half sleeping, half waking, passing all our lives in a haze. This is the fate of every one of us. This is the fate of all sense knowledge. This is the fate of all philosophy, of all boasted science, of all boasted human knowledge. And this is the universe. This eternal play of light and darkness, indiscriminate, indistinguishable, inseparable, is always there. A fact, yet at the same time not a fact. Awake and at the same time asleep. This statement of facts, and this is what is called Maya. This is a statement of facts, and this is what is called Maya. This half awake, half dreaming, fleeting show of forms. Then Swamiji continues, we are born in this Maya, we live in it, we think in it, we dream in it. We are philosophers in it, we are spiritual men in it. Nay, we are devils in this Maya, and we are gods in this Maya. Stretch your ideas as far as you can, make them higher and higher, call them infinite or any other name you please. Even these ideas are within this Maya. It cannot be otherwise, and the whole human knowledge is a generalization of this Maya, trying to know it as it appears to be. This is the work of name and form, nama rupa. Everything that has a form, everything that calls up an idea in your mind is within Maya. For everything that is bound by laws of time, space and causation is within Maya. So our existence is a fact and not yet not a fact. It's a kind of a dream, play of light and darkness, Maya. Vedanta was and is the boldest system of religion, and freedom is the first condition of growth. Two principles very clearly stated by Swamiji. Vedanta is the boldest system of religion because it proclaims that the unconditional absolute reality without name and form is the only reality, and the entire creation with all souls is just a passing show. So this is the boldest system, and for growth in any field, or to speak of spiritual field, freedom is the first condition. For perfect growth of human being and society, religion, understood in the fullest sense of word, that is actually spirituality, must come into society. So without spirituality, without religion, growth of human being and society is not possible. And in the light of Vedanta, we see all is manifestation of religion. Swamiji says the Vedanta was and is the boldest system of religion. It stopped nowhere, and it had one advantage. There was no body of priests who sought to suppress every man who tried to tell the truth. There was always absolute religious freedom. In India, the bondage of superstition is the social one. Here in the West, society is very free. Social matters in India are very strict, but religious opinion is free. Swamiji always stressed that if East and West has to co-mingle, then the social restriction on Indian society must be relaxed, and the spiritual restriction on religion that is there in the West should be relaxed. And the freedom that spirituality or religion enjoys in the East should be enjoyed is also in the West, and the freedom that society enjoys in the West, East also society restriction should be slightly relaxed. Then Swamiji moves to idea of evil and the how to root out this evil that we see around. To remove social evils, it is not correct way to denounce it like a fanatic. That is easy, and we find many taking to this course, they will denounce the evil, but that way it doesn't get solved. But rather we should try to remove the cause of the evil. If you see the saints in every society, they have understood this fact. Saints forbear social evil. Sometimes we feel that the saints are cowards because they are not protesting, they are not vehemently opposing these social evils. But that is not the case. They have realized the infinite percolating through all forms, good and evil. And their infinite power of love that is there in their hearts is working silently, slowly, patiently, but surely to remove the causes of evil. Swamiji says, such were the writers of Upanishads, and they knew that the prevailing ideas of God were anachronistic with highest developed ethical ideas. But unlike atheists, they did not wish to cut away the old and build an empty air, but rather they tried to find what is real in the old ideas. That is the greatness of saints. Though they may have transcended the rituals, worships, lower steps of religion, and might have reached the higher regions, they do not condemn the lower steps. They know that the humanity needs those steps, and that the result was Vedanta of such Upanishadic teachings. The result was Vedanta, from old divinities, deities, to monotheistic God, and ultimately to the impersonal absolute. Oneness throughout the universe, one reality into many. So in this manner, Swamiji in this lecture traces the evolution of conception of God and relates also to the Maya. And next would be Maya and freedom. Om Tat Sat.